The email arrived on a Wednesday afternoon while I was reviewing investment portfolios. My cousin Rachel had accidentally CC'd me on a message meant for our extended family. Subject: Lisa's latest excuse. Can you believe Lisa is skipping Aunt Marie's 70th birthday? Again. Too busy with her fancy venture capital life to care about family. Meanwhile, Mom and Dad are struggling to keep the lights on, and she's probably buying another designer handbag. Some sister she turned out to be. I read it twice. My hand stayed steady on the keyboard, but something cold settled in my chest. Lisa. That's me. The sister who's too busy to care. I thought about my nephew Marcus. 17 now, senior year at a prestigious prep school. $45,000 a year in tuition. I thought about my niece Sophie. Sophomore at an elite college studying architecture. $68,000 annually for tuition, room, and board. I thought about Rachel's son, the one whose name was literally on the email thread. Freshman at a state university. $22,000 a year, all expenses covered. Too busy buying designer handbags. I leaned back in my office chair and did something I hadn't done in years. I laughed. Actually laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. If you've ever been invisible to the people you've sacrificed everything for, you know this exact moment. That second when the truth hits you. Comment below if you understand. I need to know someone gets it. Let me back up. You need to understand how I got here. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. My brother James is 42, 8 years older than me. My sister Patricia is 40, 6 years my senior. Then there's me, Lisa Chen, 34 years old and apparently the family disappointment. We grew up middle class in a small town in Ohio. Dad worked at the auto plant. Mom was a school secretary. We had enough, but just barely. Every purchase was calculated. Every expense weighed. James was the golden child. Star football player, popular, everybody's friend. Patricia was the responsible one. Got married early, did everything right. I was the weird one. The girl who spent lunch periods reading business magazines instead of gossiping. The teenager who started a lawn care business at 14 and saved every penny. The high school senior who shocked everyone by getting accepted to Stanford, California. Mom had said, looking at the acceptance letter like it was written in another language. That's so far away. Why not stay local? Patricia went to community college and she's doing just fine. I went anyway. Worked 3 jobs while studying economics. Graduated top of my class. Got hired by a small venture capital firm in San Francisco. Worked 100-hour weeks while everyone back home asked when I was going to settle down and start a real life. By 27, I'd made my first million on a tech startup investment. By 30, I'd founded my own VC firm, Chen Capital Partners. By 32, we'd become one of the most successful small firms in the Bay Area, with a portfolio worth $200 million. But I never told my family the specifics. They knew I worked in finance and did okay. They didn't know I was wealthy. Actually, genuinely, change your life forever wealthy. I learned early what happened when people knew you had money. I watched it happen to my college roommate. Suddenly every family member had an emergency. Every friend had an investment opportunity. Every conversation became about what you could give. So I stayed quiet. Wore normal clothes when I visited home. Drove a decent but not flashy car. And when Dad got laid off from the plant 7 years ago, I made sure he never knew who was really helping. It started simple. Dad's severance ran out after 6 months. The bills started piling up. Mom was crying at the kitchen table during my Christmas visit, surrounded by past due notices. "We might lose the house," she whispered. "We just need a few months to catch up. James and Patricia are helping what they can, but..." She didn't finish. Didn't need to. James was working construction, barely making ends meet with his own family. Patricia's husband had just started a new business that was hemorrhaging money. I went back to California and created something called the Community Support Fund. Made it look like a local charity program for laid-off auto workers. Sent my parents an application, made sure they qualified. Started sending them $2,000 a month. Dad found work eventually, but it paid half what the plant did. The CSF payments quietly continued, just enough to keep them comfortable. Then Marcus needed to go to high school. He was brilliant, gifted in mathematics and science. But the local public school had lost funding. The gifted program was gone. There's a prep school 2 towns over, Patricia mentioned during a phone call. It's supposed to be amazing. But it's $45,000 a year. We could never afford it. I just wish Marcus had the opportunities that rich kids get. 2 weeks later, Patricia got a call from the school. Marcus had been selected for a full scholarship through an anonymous donor program. They didn't question it. Just celebrated their good fortune. Sophie came next. Brilliant artist, dreamed of studying architecture at a top school. Got accepted to her dream college. Couldn't afford to go. Another scholarship. Another anonymous donor. Another celebration where I smiled and congratulated them while secretly wire transferring $68,000 from my personal account. Then Rachel's son. Then James's youngest daughter needed special tutoring. Then Patricia's mortgage payment was late. Then James's truck broke down. Problem after problem after problem. And I fixed them all, quietly, invisibly, through fake programs and anonymous donations and lucky breaks that were just me moving money around. I kept detailed records. Couldn't help it, VC training makes you track everything. 10 years of payments. 10 years of watching my nieces and nephews get opportunities they deserved. 10 years of making sure my parents could retire with dignity and my siblings could breathe a little easier. $1.2 million total. And in all that time, not once did anyone say thank you. How could they? They didn't know. But they also never just asked how I was doing. Never wondered if I was okay. Never thought that maybe their successful little sister might need support too. I got divorced 3 years ago. It was brutal. My husband had an affair with his paralegal. Took me for everything he could in the settlement. I lost half my company value overnight. Did my family know? Patricia called once, said she heard through Facebook, asked if I was managing okay and then spent 40 minutes talking about her own problems. That was it. No follow-up. No check-ins. Nothing. I had a cancer scare last year. Found a lump, spent 3 terrifying weeks waiting for biopsy results. Benign, thank God, but those weeks were the darkest of my life. I didn't tell my family. What was the point? I'd already learned they only called when they needed something. And now this email. This accidental, revealing, brutally honest email. Too busy with her fancy venture capital life to care about family. I opened my financial software and pulled up the family folder. Every transaction, every scholarship, every lucky break for the past decade, all documented. Then I opened my email and started typing. Subject: Lisa's latest excuse. Hi Rachel. I think you meant to leave me off this email, but I'm glad I saw it. It's given me clarity I've needed for a while. You're absolutely right. I am too busy to make Aunt Marie's birthday party. I have a board meeting that day with investors who trust me with their money. I can't reschedule it. But I wanted to address something in your email. You mentioned Mom and Dad struggling to keep the lights on. I'm confused about that, since they've been receiving $2,000 monthly from what they think is a community support program. That program is me. Has been for 7 years. That's $168,000. You also mentioned my fancy lifestyle. I'm curious what you think that looks like. Because from where I'm sitting, my fancy lifestyle has included Marcus's prep school tuition, $45,000 yearly for 4 years equals $180,000. Sophie's college, $68,000 yearly for 2 years so far equals $136,000. Your son David's state school, $22,000 yearly for 1 year equals $22,000. James's daughter Emma's tutoring. $15,000 over 2 years. Patricia's mortgage payment when you were 3 months behind. $8,400. James's truck repair. $7,000. Mom and dad support. $168,000, plus approximately $200,000 in other lucky breaks and anonymous donations over the past decade. Total, $1.2 million. That's what my selfish, fancy lifestyle looks like. That's what I've been too busy doing instead of attending every single family function. I'm attaching detailed financial records if you'd like to verify any of this. Effective immediately, all payments stop. The scholarships were always year to year, and I won't be renewing them. The CSF payments to mom and dad end this month. Everything stops. You're right that I should care more about family. So I'm going to start caring about the family that actually cares about me. Turns out that's not you guys. Best, Lisa. My finger hovered over the send button for a long time. Then I pressed it. The first call came 17 minutes later. Patricia. I didn't answer. The second call came 5 minutes after that. James. Ignored it. Text messages started flooding in. Patricia, Lisa, what is this? Call me now. James, is this real? Did you really do all this? Rachel, oh my God, Lisa, I'm so sorry, that email wasn't meant for you. Mom, baby, please call me, we need to talk about this. I turned my phone face down and went back to work. That evening, I had 73 missed calls and 42 text messages. I read them all. They followed a predictable pattern. Phase 1. Shock and denial. This can't be real. Why would you lie about this? If this was true, you would have told us. Phase 2. Justification. We never asked you to do any of this. You chose to help without telling us. It's not our fault you kept secrets. Phase 3. Panic. Marcus's tuition is due next month. Sophie will have to drop out. Mom and dad need that money. Phase 4. Anger. You're punishing us for one mistake. This is cruel. What kind of person holds money over families' heads? Not once, not in 73 calls and 42 texts, did anyone say, I'm sorry we didn't appreciate you or thank you for everything you did. It was all about what I was taking away. Never about what I'd given. I poured myself a glass of wine and called my best friend, Jennifer. She's been my friend since Stanford, knows everything about my family situation. I did it, I said when she answered. I told them everything and cut them off. Oh my God. How do you feel? I thought about it. Free. Terrified. Guilty. Relieved. All of it at once. The guilt will pass, Jennifer said gently. You know that, right? You didn't do anything wrong. They did. They're going to lose everything. No, they're not. They're going to have to figure things out like every other adult in America. Patricia and James have jobs. Their kids can take loans like everyone else. Your parents have Social Security and Dad's pension. They'll be fine. They just won't have secret subsidies from their daughter who they treat like garbage. She was right. I knew she was right. But it still hurt. Patricia showed up at my office 2 days later. Just appeared in my lobby, demanding to see me. My assistant, bless her, called security before I even knew Patricia was there. But I told them to let her up. We needed to have this conversation eventually. She looked terrible. Eyes red, hair uncombed, wearing sweatpants and an old t-shirt. Patricia, who never left the house without makeup and coordinated outfits. How could you, were her first words. Not hello. Not I'm sorry. Just accusation. How could I what? I stayed behind my desk. Professional. Distant. Cut us off like that. Without warning. Without even talking to us first. Like you cut me out of family events. Without warning. Without talking to me first. That was different. That was just a birthday party. Was it? Because Rachel's email made it pretty clear what you all think of me. That wasn't just about one party, Patricia. That was about years of you guys deciding I don't care about family. Because you don't. Her voice rose. You never call. You never visit. You miss everything important. You're always too busy with work. I was working to pay for your children's education. I was shouting now, standing up. I was working 100-hour weeks to make sure Marcus got opportunities you couldn't give him. To make sure Sophie could follow her dreams. To keep Mom and Dad in their house. That's what I was too busy doing. We didn't ask you to do that. You shouldn't have to ask. The words exploded out of me. That's what family is supposed to be. You see someone you love struggling, and you help if you can. I didn't help because I expected something in return. I helped because I love you. Because they're my family. But apparently, that only works one direction. Patricia sat down heavily in the chair across from my desk. We really didn't know. I know you didn't. That was intentional. I didn't want things to be weird. I didn't want you guys to feel like you owed me or to treat me differently. I just wanted to help. I sat down too, suddenly exhausted. But Patricia, you didn't know about the money. Fine. But did you know I existed as anything other than an ATM and a disappointment? That's not fair. Isn't it? When's the last time you called me just to talk? Not because you needed something, not because there was a family obligation, but just because you wanted to know how your little sister was doing? Silence. When's the last time you asked about my life? My work? My divorce that destroyed me? The cancer scare I went through alone? Her head snapped up. What cancer scare? Last year. Found a lump. Spent 3 weeks thinking I might die. Didn't tell anyone because I already knew nobody would actually be there for me. Lisa, that's not, we would have. Would you have? Really? Or would you have called once, said that's tough, and then spent the rest of the conversation talking about your own problems? Because that's what happened when I got divorced. She couldn't answer because we both knew it was true. I don't want your money, Patricia finally said. I never wanted your money. I just wanted my sister. You had me. You just never noticed because I wasn't useful enough in the ways you wanted. I couldn't babysit because I was working. I couldn't host holidays because I lived across the country. I couldn't attend every single event because I was building a company. But I was here, Patricia. I was always here. You just never looked. So what now? You just abandon us? Let Marcus drop out of school? Let Mom and Dad lose their house? Mom and Dad aren't losing their house. Dad has his pension and social security. They'll be fine. They'll just have to budget like they did before I started helping. As for Marcus, there are student loans, financial aid, scholarships he can apply for himself. Millions of kids figure it out. He will too. But he's already there. He's already in that school. You're going to rip that away from him? No, Patricia. I'm going to stop paying for it. There's a difference. His education isn't being ripped away. It just means you'll have to figure out how to cover it. Get loans. Work extra hours. Do what every other parent does. What my parents did for me. We can't afford it. And that's not my responsibility. I'm his aunt, not his parent. I helped because I wanted to, not because I had to. And you repaid that help by trashing me behind my back and excluding me from family events. Patricia started crying. We didn't mean it like that. Rachel was just venting. We were frustrated because we miss you. You miss the version of me that exists in your head. The sister who has unlimited time and resources and no problems of her own. But that's not real. I'm a real person with a real life, and I've been so busy taking care of all of you that I forgot to take care of myself. So this is it. You're just done with us. I thought about that. Was I done? Could you ever really be done with family? I don't know, I said honestly. I know I'm done being invisible. I'm done being taken for granted. I'm done sacrificing everything while being treated like I'm the selfish one. Whether we can rebuild something real from here, that's up to all of you. Patricia left without saying goodbye. I watched her walk to her car from my office window. She sat in the driver's seat for 10 minutes before starting the engine. That night, I got a call from Mom. I answered this time. "Baby," she said, and her voice was thick with tears. "Is it true? Have you really been helping us all this time?" "Yes, Mama." "Why didn't you tell us?" "Because I didn't want it to change anything. I didn't want you to feel like you owed me. I just wanted you to be okay." "Oh, baby." She was full on crying now. "I had no idea. No idea how hard you were working or how much you were doing. We've been terrible to you. You didn't know about the money. But Mama, you knew I missed events because of work. You knew I was busy. And instead of asking if I was okay or if I needed support, you all just decided I was selfish. You're right. You're absolutely right. We've been so focused on our own struggles that we couldn't see yours. I'm so sorry, Lisa. I'm so sorry." It was the first real apology I'd gotten. It cracked something open in my chest. "I don't know how to fix this, Mama." "Neither do I. But I want to try. Not because of the money. I don't want your money if it comes with this kind of pain. I want to try because you're my daughter and I love you, and I've done a terrible job of showing you that." We talked for 2 hours. Really talked, maybe for the first time in years. She told me about her fears when I moved to California, how she never understood my work but was terrified to ask because she didn't want me to think she was stupid. How she'd been proud of me but didn't know how to say it. I told her about the divorce, the cancer scare, the crushing loneliness of being successful but alone. How I'd built this entire life that looked perfect from the outside but felt empty because I had no one to share it with. "Come home for Christmas," she said finally. "Not to Aunt Marie's party or any big event. Just come home. Sit in the kitchen with me. Let's just be together. No expectations." "Okay," I said. "I can do that." After we hung up, I felt lighter. Not fixed, not healed, but lighter. James called next. That conversation was harder. "I'm not apologizing," he said right off the bat. "You lied to us for a decade. You made us think we were getting help from charity programs when it was you playing God with our lives." "I wasn't playing God. I was helping my family. Without asking if we wanted your help. You made us all dependent on you and then ripped it away. That's manipulation. You think I manipulated you? By paying for things and asking for nothing in return? By making us dependent on you? By creating this whole situation where we needed you and didn't even know it? And now you're punishing us because we didn't thank you enough for something we didn't know was happening." I took a deep breath. "You're right that I should have been honest from the beginning. Creating those fake programs was wrong. I should have just talked to you all and offered help directly." He wasn't expecting that. "Oh. But James, even without knowing about the money, you guys treated me terribly. You treated me like I didn't matter unless I was useful to you in specific ways. That's the part one needs you to understand. We didn't mean it like that. But that's how it felt. And that's what matters. Impact over intention." Silence on his end. "Then, Emma's going to be devastated when the tutoring ends. It's the only thing that's worked for her learning disability. There are public programs for learning disabilities. Special education services through the school district. They're free. They're not as good as what she has now. Maybe not. But they're what's available, and they're what you'll have to use. I'm sorry, James. I really am. But I can't keep doing this." He hung up on me. Patricia at least tried. James just couldn't. Rachel called to apologize. It felt hollow. She was sorry I saw the email, sorry it hurt my feelings, but not sorry for what she said. There's a difference. "I was just venting," she kept saying. "Everyone vents about family. You're being too sensitive." I stopped expecting anything from Rachel after that conversation. The interesting thing happened 3 weeks later. I got a call from Marcus. Aunt Lisa? It's Marcus. Hey, sweetheart. How are you? I'm okay. I wanted to talk to you. My mom told me everything. About how you paid for my school. Oh God. I hadn't thought about having this conversation with him. Marcus, thank you. His voice cracked. Nobody's ever done anything like that for me. And I didn't even know to say thank you. I've been going to this amazing school, getting this incredible education, and I didn't even know someone was sacrificing for me to be there. I was crying now. Couldn't help it. I talked to the financial aid office, he continued. I can get loans for the rest of senior year. And I'm applying for every scholarship I can find. I'm going to make sure I finish. And Aunt Lisa, I'm going to pay you back. Every penny. It might take me years, but I'm going to pay you back. Marcus, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Not because you expect it. Because you deserve it. You gave me a chance at a future, and I'm not going to waste it. And I'm not going to take it for granted. After that call, I cried for an hour. Good tears, finally. Sophie called a few days later. Similar conversation. She'd looked into transfer options, financial aid, work-study programs. She was figuring it out. I'm actually excited, she said, and she sounded like she meant it. I've been feeling guilty about the cost of school, even though I thought it was a scholarship. Now I get to work for it. Earn it myself. That feels good. My nieces and nephews got it in a way their parents couldn't. Maybe because they were younger. Maybe because they hadn't yet learned to take things for granted. I'm 6 months out from sending that email now. Here's where everyone ended up. Mom and Dad are fine. Turns out they have enough to live on without my help. They're budgeting more carefully, but they're managing. Dad even picked up some part-time consulting work with his old company. Mom has started substitute teaching again. They're actually thriving with purpose and structure back in their lives. James isn't speaking to me. We're both okay with that for now. Patricia and I are in family therapy, trying to rebuild something real. It's hard, painful work. But she's showing up. That counts for something. Rachel and I don't talk. Maybe someday. Marcus finished his senior year through a combination of loans, scholarships he earned himself, and working part-time. He got into MIT for college. Full scholarship based on merit. He sends me updates every few weeks. Sophie transferred to a state school, got an RA position that covers room and board, and is actually happier in the smaller architecture program. She visits me in California when she has breaks. I started a scholarship fund. A real one, not a secret one. 4 first-generation college students from working-class families. It's public, transparent, and application-based. I'm giving money to people who want help and appreciate it, not people who expect it and resent me anyway. I also started dating again. Slowly, carefully. Learning to be a person instead of just a provider. And I learned something important. Boundaries aren't selfish. Stopping the cycle of giving until you're empty isn't cruel. It's survival. The people who love you shouldn't make you invisible. They shouldn't make you prove your worth over and over. Real family, whether blood or chosen, sees you, values you, shows up for you the way you show up for them. I spent 10 years being the family's secret safety net. Silent, invisible, unappreciated. I thought that was love. Turned out it was just martyrdom. Now I'm learning what real relationships look like. Where people know your value because you tell them. Where generosity flows both ways. Where you're not just an ATM with a heartbeat, but a whole person deserving of consideration and care. To anyone reading this who's the giver in their family, the fixer, the one everyone leans on but nobody sees, you deserve better. Your worth isn't measured in what you provide. And stopping the flow of resources isn't cruelty, it's self-preservation. Set boundaries. Protect your peace. And know that the people who truly love you will understand. The ones who don't weren't really loving you anyway. They were loving what you could do for them. I'm still healing. Some days are harder than others. But I'm free now. Free from the weight of secret keeping. Free from the pain of being taken for granted. Free to build relationships based on honesty and mutual respect. And that freedom, as painful as it was to claim, is worth everything I lost. Because I didn't lose family. I lost people who were using me. And now I'm finally learning what real family, honest, reciprocal, genuine family actually feels like. It's better. So much better.